and on boards also the private sector players, as they make their money out of their innovation, but Kenyans must have the certainty and guarantee that that money that is collected is ending in the right pockets and is not disappearing in funny escrow accounts. Mr. Speaker, if you would allow me just in less than 1 minute also to join Senator Mandago, with whom we were at the referral hospital this afternoon. And Mr. Speaker, he has highlighted the sorry state of affairs, and I think the one that he perhaps forgot to mention is that in the entire Busia County, we do not have a public ICU facility. And for you to get ICU services, you have to go to Bungoma. Mr. Speaker, it is sad. We did not come to Busia to fault find. We did not come to Busia to grill. And we did not come to Busia for vengeance. We came so that we can expose some of these problems to the county government of Busia. And I want to pray that the governor, the executive, the assembly, and all those parties that we have interacted with, let them not take it as a sign of ill will that we are talking about these things. If a county, after 10 years of devolution, Mr. Speaker, cannot have an ICU, can only have one functional ambulance, cannot offer dialysis services, does not have a functioning oxygen plant, Mr. Speaker, you would ask yourself, what has happened to devolution in that county? And so the people of Busia, let's take this feedback positively. We did not come to witch hunt, we did not come to belittle anybody, but we came to expose the things, governance problems, the structural problems, the systemic problems, which if the governor in good faith, if he were to put together a team of advisors and allow professionals to advise him, it is possible for him in the next 1 year to turn things around so that the people of Busia do not have to go to Bungoma for ICU services, or sadly, to go to Uganda for ICU services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Murgu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to also make comments on two of the statements. One is the statement about Honorable Elijah Lagat. Elijah Lagat is a former MP for Jesume in Nandi, and we served with him in the 10th Parliament. And he was a very hard-working person, hard-working MP, and hard-working person, rising from athletics to be a servant of the people in a constituency. And so he initiated many projects in Mosop, and therefore Mosop has lost a very hard-working person who would be an example, even though retired from politics at the time, but he would be an example to the young people. And then secondly, I would like to make a comment on the IDs that the Senator for Muranga reported, that the IDs that are in registry offices, and some of them the offices of chiefs, are IDs or documents that are delaying a lot of things. Those that are missing them do not get services in either locations or offices that they would be getting, and therefore there is need for chiefs and administrators to do campaigns so that they are collected for the purpose of even registration to vote and many other services that give people rights with IDs or possession of IDs. Thank you.
Now, before we proceed with the comments, allow me to make this communication. Now, honorable senators, I'd like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of visiting deputy governors from Bungoma, Vihiga, and Trans Nzoia county governments. I request each deputy governor to stand when called out so that you may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. His Excellency Pastor Jennifer Chemtai Mbatian, Deputy Governor, Bungoma County. Thank you. His Excellency Wilberforce Kitiezo Guadoya, Deputy Governor, Vihiga County. Thank you. His Excellency Philomena Binea Kapkori. Thank you. Deputy Governor, Bungoma County. Now, honorable senators, in our usual tradition of receiving, of Trans Nzoia, Deputy Governor, Trans Nzoia County. Now, honorable senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming guests to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to the Deputy Governors, and on my own behalf, on behalf of the Senate, wish them a fruitful visit. Further, I'd wish to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon, a visiting delegation of 11 religious leaders of the Busia County Interfaith Network. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Reverend John Omuse Okude, Presiding Bishop, Anglican Church of Kenya, Katakwa Diocese. Thank you. Reverend Isaiah Obaya, Presiding Bishop, Anglican Church of Kenya, Nambale Diocese. Sheikh Ramadan Musa, Chairman, Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya, Busia County. Sheikh Mohammed A. Ayolo, Secretary, Busia County Interfaith Network. Thank you. Reverend Charles Orodi, Retired Priest and Administrative Secretary, Busia County Interfaith Network. Thank you. Reverend John K. Sireka, Presiding Bishop, Assemblies of Christ Evangelical Holiness Church. Reverend Vincent Orango, St. Mary's Church of God and member Organization of the African Independent Churches. Sheikh Isa M. Musa, Imam Masjid Jamia Umala. Madam Zainab Y. Khamis, member Busia County Interfaith Network. Bishop James Wanyama, Presiding Bishop, Grace Fellowship Church, Busia and Deputy Secretary, Busia County Interfaith Network. Father Benedict, Presiding Priest, Luanya Parish of the Catholic Church. On behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome and wish you a fruitful visit. I will request the Minority Whip to extend a word of welcome to the two delegations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of myself and the Senate, I'd like to extend a welcome to the three distinguished deputy governors from this region, as well as the religious leaders. The deputy governors, we come to this particular place to be able to oversight the counties, and I'm happy that you're here today to be able to witness some of the activities that we're doing. I'd like you to take your time to listen keenly, because this house is one house that unifies the entire nation. And it is a house that was established to be able to defend devolution. And that is the work that we do. We not only send money to counties, but we also come here to be able to see what is happening with those the funds that we sent. To the religious leaders, we share a diverse of opinion, and I'm happy to see that the Muslims and the religious and the Christians are also here. I ask you to put this country in prayer as we navigate different terrains to try and find the right path to be able to bring in justice and to represent the people who have given us the opportunity to come and respect and represent them here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Muma, you may proceed with comments.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to contribute to Senator Cherargei's statement on the findings of the special audit on the eCitizen platform. I'd like to commend Senator Cherargei for bringing this very important issue to our attention. And I would want to urge that the Committee on Finance treat this statement as a matter of urgency and actually addresses the issues raised by Cherargei in a timeous manner, for the reason that the country is actually trying to digitize the systems, but the manner in which some of the things are happening with the current systems is actually not bringing any confidence among the users and the citizens on these systems. I believe the audit is good for purposes of exposing any loopholes and any weaknesses in these systems. But even as it exposes these issues, it also brings out some level of lack of confidence, because then people imagine this was deliberately intended to fleece the public. You will all remember that recently we've had a spat between national and county governments not wanting to digitize their systems. And yet, when we were at the devolution conference, we all applauded the governor for Muranga for actually digitizing most of the services and the systems, and particularly the financial system. So I would want to ask that beyond the questions that Senator Cherargei has asked, we must also include how we can create this system in such a way that it continues to respect the distinctive nature of our devolved governance. So we are creating a system that is able to ensure county governments can operate their financial systems distinctively and independently, as well as national government, but that we are able to bring everything on this system in order to have better accountability and transparency. So I would want to urge that this is actually taken seriously. I also want to add to contribute to this statement by Senator Nyoto on facilitation of ID cards. Honorable Speaker, access to IDs in this country has always been treated in a political manner. And I come from this region, the region generally, and Nyanza has been, and the coast, have been regions that have suffered marginalization in facilitating access to IDs because of the perceived political outcomes that might come with voter registration. Honorable Speaker, I actually came across 5 landlords who had a C IDs, and they come from poor backgrounds. They had not managed to collect. The president was still in internal security. I brought a statement to ask that issued in schools, in all schools, that the registrar of persons facilitate the officers to go to the schools and ensure that Form 3s and 4s are able to get those IDs before they leave. That gives an equal opportunity to every child to apply for college, every child to apply for help, and any other funds. I'm supporting this statement and requesting that as a Senate, maybe we should make it a collective issue. Mr. Speaker, you might want to lead us to the Minister for Interior to actually make case for all learners in our schools to be facilitated to apply during this time, so that in January, before the results come out, they are able to have their IDs, to apply for funds in an equitable manner, to be able to have an equal chance to apply for tertiary institutions, to have an equal chance to apply for jobs, to have an equal chance to apply for affirmative action funds. That is not happening. It is only the children of the middle class and the upper middle class who are managing in large sense to access this facility. The ID is an enabler. The ID is an equalizer. I urge that the Senate takes this seriously and makes it our collective responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mundigi.
Okay, asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia mjadala wa Senator Cherargei wa I&M Bank. Yangu ni kusema utendaji wa kazi unafaa ufuatiliwe, kwa sababu wakati huu ni kila kitu yote, hakuna mambo ya kuwa kuna mtu aangalie njia ile inafaa. Kwa kwa sababu unakuta watu wengine wasikuwa kama ni kazi nyumbani, na kama kampuni yoyote ama mbangi ama wizara yoyote imekumbali kufanya kazi katika Kenya mpaka kuwe na mambo ya uwazi, kwa sababu ya kusaidia economy ya Kenya na economy ya kaunti zetu zote. Na utendaji wa kazi ni mzuri, kwa sababu unasikia kama I&M Bank, mambo ya kupatiana mamlaka kunaweza kuwa itaharibu hata familia za watu. Hapo ndio utakuta itaharibu hata vijana wetu, itaharibu wasichana wetu, utakuta kuna shinda. Na sio mambo ya hiyo banki peke yake, Bwana Spika, ni banki nyingi, hata SACCOS unakuta kuna shinda. Na hapo ndio utakuta wizara nyingi itaharibika, kwa sababu mtu akipeleka ndugu yake, kesho apeleka sister yake, ama mwingine apeleka mtu mwingine, na hiyo mambo yote itakuja kuharibu. Hata unakuta banki kama hizo, utakuta watu wanapiga kelele, banki imeanguka, kwa sababu njia ya utendaji wa kazi haikufuatiliwa kwa sababu ya mambo ya utapeli wa pesa. Bwana Spika, pia ningeunga mkono mambo ya kuchukua vitambulisho ambayo ni ya seneta wa Murang'a. Bwana Spika, wakati huu tumembakisha miaka 2 ndio tuweze kwenda kwa uchaguzi. Ningeomba utendaji wa kazi wa wale watu wanapeana vitambulisho, wakiingia kazi asubuhi na mapema, na pia wale wanataka vitambulisho waweze kusaidiwa, kwa sababu tunajua bila kitambulisho utakuwa na shinda juu ya uajiri wa kazi. Na pia watoto wetu wale wametoka shule wanataka kwenda kazi, wanataka kwenda kazi manjuu, lakini kama mambo ya vitambulisho haitaangaliwa, utakuta kutakuwa na shinda. Pia ningeongea kwa vijana wetu na wasichana wetu. Pia watu wengi katika sub county vitambulisho inachukuliwa. Bwana Spika, unakuta watu wengi wamechukua vitambulisho, lakini mpaka sasa vitambulisho imekuwa pale na wanjaenda kuchukua. Sasa hiyo inakuta ni shida nyingine. Bwana Spika, pia ningetaka kuchangia, tumekuja hapa Busia, ni vizuri kama vile chairperson wa health ameongea, hata kama mimi nikiwa mwenyekiti wa agriculture vice chairperson, naweza kuhusia kidogo upande wa agriculture. Juzi tulienda hapa katika Butarangi, Lake Victoria, mambo ya uvuvi wa samaki. Na mambo ya ajabu, mimi nikitoka huko Embu County ama Nairobi, nilikuwa nikifikiria utendaji kazi wa mambo ya uvuvi wa samaki. Hapa samaki siko nyingi, lakini Bwana Spika, wakati tulienda pale unakuta kuna shida kubwa sana, kwa sababu tulikutana na watu ambaye ni wa miaka kidogo, lakini unakuta ile shinda iko pale juu ya kilimo ya samaki iko na shinda, kwa sababu kuna ofisi ilijengwa pale na Blue Economy, na mpaka leo haijakuwa handing over kwa county. Pia unakuta kuna shinda, wale watu wanalima samaki wanalamika, wako mbonda ya Uganda, unakuta watu wanaenda uvuvi wa samaki, alafu wakati wa koloni ilisha, wa communist ilisha, lakini watu wetu wakienda pale wanawekwa ndani, wanashikwa mataka na watu wa Uganda. Bwana Spika, naomba serikali ya muungano ya William Ruto aweze kuongea na Museveni, waweze kuangalia vile Busia uhusiano mwingi, ndio watu wetu wasiwe wanachukuliwa mateka, ndio waweze kusaidia juu ya biashara. Pia Bwana Spika, mambo ya county government, hapo mambo county government iko pesa nyingi sana. Bwana Spika, county ya Busia ingenunua machini ya kutengeneza chakula ambaye ya kusaidia samaki, ndio ikae vizuri, ndio wakulima waweze kufaidika. Lakini unakuta baada ya county ya Busia kusaidia kilimo ya samaki inaendelea kuvivia. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, naomba uhusiano mzuri wa county ya Busia na MCA na executive. Hapa tumeona makanisa, hata makanisa mpaka hiyo maneno.
30 seconds, Honorable Senator.
Sawa. Bwana Spika, kwa hivyo ningeomba hao watu wakae pamoja, waweze kuangalia vile watasaidia kilimo, kwa sababu kilimo ya hapa ni uvuvi wa samaki, ni uvuvi pia ni mambo ya miwa. Pia ningeomba waangalie kuna mambo ya value addition, waangalie kama kuna kilimo ingine kama ya makandamia, kama ni mambo ya makandamia na pia na vitu zingine, ndio waweze kutengeneza kilimo, kwa sababu saa hii mambo ya elimu hapa iko juu sana, lakini mambo ya kilimo pesa
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Well, the Honorable Senator has concluded his remarks. Now, before I allow Senator Olekina to make his comments, allow me to make this communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from St. Monica Chacol Girls High School in Busia County. The delegation consists of 4 teachers and 60 students who are in the Senate for an academic exposition. Now, Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on my own behalf and on behalf of the Senate, wish them a fruitful visit. I will request the Senator from Busia County to extend a word of welcome. And a 1 minute, Honorable Senator.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity. St. Monica Chacol Girls is one of the premier schools in Busia County. Even the MP for the area where we are here, Teso South, is an alumni of St. Monica Girls. So feel very welcome. You have seen our distinguished senators here. They are here because of their efforts. And then, as I told you in my world, is the cream that rises to the top, and try to be the cream. Oh, we know that also rubbish rises to the top when there's no order, but when there's the orders are calm, it's only the cream that rises to the top, and so you work hard at your studies, and will rise to the top. Thank you very much, and feel at home. We are most welcome, and we are honored by your visit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to support the statement by Senator Cherogei. This statement should worry Kenyans. We cannot have an audit carried out, and we are told by the Auditor General that there's an issue of accountability or up to 7 billion shillings. Mr. Speaker, it is about time, and this is why I always say that statements are brought to this House, not just for the sake of one committee investigating it, but to be able to assist this Senate or Parliament develop legislations that can ensure accountability. Mr. Speaker, it is quite clear that there is a lack of accountability, there is opaque legal framework to be able to oversight each citizen, and a private entity. And this is why I differ from my colleague, the distinguished senator from Homa Bay. I agree with him that there's nothing wrong with a private entity doing business. But when it comes to revenue being collected for the entire nation, where we have, I think, a minimum of about 22,000 services, then at that point we must ask ourselves, what have we done as a parliament to be able to develop legislation that oversight that service being given to a private entity? Madam Speaker, if you look at countries like Sweden, Estonia, Denmark, they have legal framework that assist the government be able to collect that revenue. Singapore is one of them. But here, and I can tell you I'm speaking out of experience on this matter, legislations are drafted, engineered by the private sector. One of those legislations is the legislation on the healthcare. It is all engineered by the private sector. So now, when you look at the regulations that are regulating the e-citizen platform, there's not a single one. It cuts across different ministries, not even the Ministry of ICT. So, distinguished senators, it's about time that we either amend the PFM Act, look at Article 206 of the Constitution that talks about the consolidated fund, and ensure that all these 22,000 government services, that money goes directly to the consolidated fund, but not to a webmaster for them to collect a service fee of 50 shillings that they cannot really account for it. Those are some of my biggest problems that I see in this country, where there is opaque legal framework, lack of accountability. You know, you cannot compare. There's no way we can say that we are leapfrogging. We are not leapfrogging. What we are doing is that we are lining certain individuals' pockets. That is a fact. Madam Speaker, The things that Senator Chiragea discussed here really goes around three sectors. One is the technology being used. That technology must be owned by the government. Why do we have an ICT authority, yet we cannot rely on it to be able to develop technology that the government can be able to use? If ICT authority cannot be able to develop the technology, why don't we go to the NIS? I believe last year, was it 2 years ago, we were invited by NIS. They showed us their capacity and capability in developing the land registry technology to be used, because that will be government to government. Let us now move away from this issue where we are collecting 50 shillings, but in 22,000 government services. That's a lot of money. So, Madam Speaker, it is time that this government has control. And I hope that when the Committee on Finance and Budget is going to be looking at this, I think the Committee on Public Accounts Investment, and even the committee led by, the committee led by Senator Kajuang, should go and look at it, because to be honest with you, how do you oversight e-citizen? Who has oversighted e-citizen apart from us? This time, let's not just comment on a statement, but actually take advantage of the things that we are finding out from the Auditor General, develop legislation, and finally, either set up an ad hoc committee and do away with this webmaster. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
For senators, I wish to reinstate the statements by Senator Okiya Omtata before we continue with the comments. Senator Omtata.
Honorable Speaker, I have three statements. I request that I read them all together.
Proceed, Senator Omtata.
So, my first request is a request for a statement on the protection of Lake Turkana's fishing ecosystem and the establishment of Busia as a national dry fish auction market. Madam Speaker, I rise, pursuant to Standing Order 53 Clause 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of inter-county concern regarding protection of Lake Turkana's fishing ecosystem and the establishment of Busia as a national dry fish auction market. Madam Speaker, Lake Turkana, the world's largest desert lake and the UNESCO World Heritage Site, sustains thousands of livelihoods in Turkana and Marsabit counties. However, it faces great threats from illegal, unregulated, and destructive fishing practices, including use of toxic chemicals, the harvesting of an undersized fish, and unsustainable netting. Reports further indicate the direct involvement of foreign nationals, notably traders from the Democratic Republic of Congo, in collusion with locals, worsening the depletion of fish stocks. Madam Speaker, meanwhile, Busia County, a hub of cross-border fish trade, still lacks a formally recognized national dry fish auction market. This regulatory gap undermines food safety, denies government revenue, and fuels practice manipulation. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the reports of illegal and destructive fishing in Lake Turkana, including the role of foreign nationals, and purpose immediate enforcement measures. 2, policy and legislative actions to prohibit toxic fishing methods, regulate net sizes, enforce closed seasons, and bar direct fishing by foreign nationals. 3, the establishment of a national dry fish auction market in Busia town under the Fisheries Act and the National Trade Policy, ensuring compliance with Kenya Bureau of Standards, Kenya Revenue Authority, and public health standards. 4, inter-county collaboration between Turkana, Marsabit, and Busia to strengthen enforcement, establish landing/inspection sites, and empower fisherfolk cooperatives with storage and processing facilities. Senator Andrew Mtata MP, Senator from Busia County, 1st October 2025. Second, I request for a statement on the conservation, development, and promotion of Kakapel prehistoric site in Busia County. Madam Speaker, I rise, pursuant to Standing Order 53, Clause 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and National Resources on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the conservation, development, and promotion of Kakapel prehistoric site in Busia County. Madam Speaker, the Kakapel prehistoric site, gazetted by the National Museums of Kenya, is a monument of exceptional archaeological and cultural significance, showcasing ancient rock art and inscriptions dating back thousands of years. Despite an approved allocation of Kenya shillings 102,400,000 under the project Tourism Promotion through Conservation of Cultural Heritage at Kakapel National Museum, the site remains largely underdeveloped. Critical infrastructure, including access roads, visitor amenities, and research facilities, have not been established. This neglect jeopardizes the preservation of Kenya's heritage, undermines key national and continental development agendas, and deprives the local community of educational, cultural, and economic benefits. In the statement, the committee should address the following: the status of implementation of the Kakapel project, including reasons for the delay in release and utilization of the allocated funds, and whether due process was followed in the planning, tendering, and procurement stages of the project, and provide relevant documentation. 2, measures in place to develop essential infrastructure such as access roads, fencing, signage, interpretation centers, accommodation facilities, and cultural exhibition spaces. 3, strategies to collaborate with universities and archaeological institutions for research, documentation, and preservation of both tangible and intangible heritage. 4, plans to promote community-based tourism models that empower local residents and safeguard cultural identity. 5, national and international marketing initiatives to position Kakapel as a flagship heritage tourism destination, including cross-border tourism with Uganda. Signed, Andrew Omtato Koiti, MP, Senator from Busia County, 1st October 2025. My third request for a statement is on the management of sugar cess, dilapidated infrastructure, and rampant sugarcane smuggling in Busia County. Madam Speaker, I rise, pursuant to Standing Order 53, Clause 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock, and Fisheries on a matter of county-wide concern regarding the management of sugarcane cess, dilapidated infrastructure, and rampant sugarcane smuggling in Busia County. Madam Speaker, farmers diligently pay sugarcane cess meant for rural roads, bridges, and way bridges. Yet, Busia's budget reflects only 10 million annually, despite Miller records showing remittances exceeding 30 million. This suggests serious underreporting or diversion of devolved funds. Consequently, feeder roads remain in disrepair, raising transport costs and reducing farmer incomes. The porous Kenya-Uganda border fuels rampant sugarcane smuggling, depriving counties of revenue and destabilizing markets. Unregulated cheap imports further depress cane prices and enable delayed miller payments, while frequent dumping of duty-free refined sugar weakens the local industry. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the total sugarcane cess collected annually from 2020 to date, disaggregated by miller and sub-county. 2, the discrepancy between county government and miller remittance reports, and outline the measures in place to ensure public disclosure of sales receipts and expenditures, including internal audit mechanisms to prevent diversion or underreporting. 3, evidence of infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and way bridges funded through sales revenue over the last 5 years. 4, the control measures established to curb sugarcane smuggling across Kenya's borders and indicate any disciplinary action taken against persons implicated in the vice. 5, the current national sugar demand and supply gap, and how the current gap is being verified before issuing import permits, and the safeguards in place to ensure imports occur only during genuine shortfalls while protecting farmers from price depression caused by cheap imports. Signed, Andrew Omtato Koiti, MP, Senator from Busia County, 6th October 2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
We resume comments on the statements. Senator Mutinda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me first to start making a brief comment of the park that we managed to visit, because it's one of the statements by Senator Okio. Thank you, Senator Mundigi. In regards to the improvement of the park, Mr. Speaker, I joined the Committee of Industry, and I was privileged to also be able to look at the a park, which, Madam Speaker, is a national museum. And all that it needs to be done is that money needs to be set aside so that it can improve the infrastructure. It will be able to really attract a lot of tourism, putting in mind this is a border area. And this is a facility, Madam Speaker, the Kakapel historical site. It has very, very historic message. It's a very important site as a museum. Madam Speaker, I agree that it needs to be gazetted and needs to be improved. We've seen a structure that the county government had started putting in place. It should work with speed to be able to complete this particular structure. And Madam Speaker, I mean, it has a lot of history that will definitely ensures it prides in the local area culture, Madam Speaker. The other statement, Madam Speaker, is by Senator Cherelgai in regards to the unfair labor practices at I&M Bank, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, actually, the matters that the Senator has addressed that the committee needs to narrow down to should go beyond I&M Bank, Madam Speaker. When I was doing my thesis in my undergraduate, Madam Speaker, at the University of Nairobi, I narrowed into the issues of the banks in this country. By then, there were about 42 banks by then. We've had an increase of the number of banks in this country. And mostly, most of them having foreign investors, Madam Speaker. When the foreign investors invest, which is something that we encourage them to do, Madam Speaker, we should not also close our eyes and forget some of the issues that have been raised, some that are in this particular statement, in terms of unfairness, probably in the promotions, in the recruitment processes, in the local strategic market strategies that need to be adapted locally, because the local banks need to help the locals, not only a specific sector, Madam Speaker. So this issue should not only be narrowed to I&M Bank, Madam Speaker, but across the different banks. The Committee of Labor should be able to give an adequate report, Madam Speaker, of all the banks in this country. Be able to analyze the issues that have been brought about by the Senator, the mechanisms that are in place to be able to whistleblow, and many others. At times you find that transactions have been done. The manager has been able to approve 1 or 2 transactions, and because the client was fraudulent, Madam Speaker, then the employee is affected, probably without fair process of what really transpired. Because the bank wants to really cover their own image, then they end up sacrificing the employee simply because something has been flagged out by CBK. So there should be a proper audit on the same. Madam Speaker, also, just to mention on the issue of the hospital. Today we had a privilege to visit, Today we had the privilege to visit the referral hospital, Busia, and I was tasked, because my area is also pharmaceutical, to be able to look at the pharmacy, and I just want to applaud, honestly, the hospital. Among all the hospitals that I've visited and I've been able to move into the pharmacy area, this has been one of the best organized, clean, decent, with very competent people, something that I'm really very proud of, and I would want to encourage them to continue with the same. Even they've been able to actually have their own system. And Madam Speaker, today when we were looking at the financial issues in terms of the pending bills in this county, apparently the health sector is the one, in terms of revenue collection, on-source revenue collection, is the one doing the best in this particular county. Despite the huge amount of the pending bills in this county, which we've been able to address, Madam Speaker, and add that the county government moves with speed, Madam Speaker, to be able to sort their suppliers. It is very sad, Madam Speaker, to have a pending bill of as little as 100,000, as little as 90,000. Mark you, this person went to a bank or to any financier, borrowed a loan. There's interest that is accruing for this particular person, and this money has not been paid for years and years. Yet they have a running pending bills committee that verifies this particular bills, Madam Speaker. It is something that we want to urge the county to move with speed. They've given us just a light strategy in terms of how they're supposed to clear the 2.6 billion pending bills in this particular county. If this is not done with a plan, then we are going to have a very minimal percentage on the development budget, Madam Speaker. So I think and I hope that Senate Mashinani in Busia, Madam Speaker, has been of impact, cutting across all the different sectors. As Mheshimiwa Mudigi also talked about the agricultural sector, we've looked at the health sector, we met with PAC, they've also tried to look at the matters within the health. Finance today, we had the governor, we tried to emphasize that pending bills be sorted. We hope and pray that the people of Busia, as we go back to our counties, as we go back to Nairobi, we will have left an impact and a positive impact for that matter. We look forward to when again we shall be here. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to contribute on the statement by Senator Omtata on the protection of Lake Turkana fishing ecosystem. As you are aware, Honorable Speaker, Marsabit shares the lake with Lake Turkana, with the Turkana County, of which 70% is in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, I think last week, some businessmen and politicians came to my office and told me we have a problem in Lake Turkana. And I want to thank Senator Omtata for bringing this issue to the Senate today. And the issue they've raised was that people are using nets which are smaller in size, undersize, for fishing in Lake Turkana. And I asked them, what is the Department of Fisheries, what are they doing? They said they're doing nothing. And I want to emphasize that this problem Senator Omtata is talking about, it is live and it is happening in Lake Turkana. Madam Speaker, imagine people using undersized net, and a senator for Busia, senator who is in Busia, complaining about issues in Lake Turkana that we have a problem. The problem is fish which are smaller in size are being transported from Lake Turkana to Busia. Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker, in Marsabit, the Marsabit County government built an abattoir, which is unfortunately maybe costed about 300 million, which is today claimed by the lake. It is in the lake now. Only the roof, you can see only the roof. And now that abattoir is not helping our people in Marsabit. What Senator Omtata is trying to say, I will be a bit having a different idea from his. My idea would be, there was money set aside. This money comes from European Union, and it's about 1.5 billion shillings to help the fisheries, the fishers, the people who are doing business, the young and women who are doing business in Lake Turkana. Honorable Speaker, this money would have been set aside for regulated trucks, cold storage system in the lake, and also policing of the lake. We have two problems in Lake Turkana. Now, one is security issues. Number two is about the nets, which are undersized nets. And if we don't stop this, we will not be having fish to be harvested from Lake Turkana in the next 5 years. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask CS Joho. I spoke to him about 3 weeks ago on the same issue. I told him there is a problem in Lake Turkana, and we need to deal with that problem as soon as possible. And he promised me he's going to come to Marsabit specifically to come to Lake Turkana and sort out these problems. What do we need in Lake Turkana? There is a boat which is in Lake Turkana that's not being used. That belongs to the Department of Blue Economy or Fisheries. That boat stays there. It can be only used when somebody wants to hire that boat. It doesn't do the policing work. It doesn't help our people in even, helping for emergencies. It is being hired, it's being let to people at some cost. So I think he needs to visit Marsabit, Lake Turkana, and see what is happening in Lake Turkana. And I want once again to thank Senator Omtata, and I want to sit with him and discuss how we are going to be having our fish. To be even not necessarily bring a dried fish. We can bring fish. I know it's not happy with this, but we can, with refrigerated vehicles, we can bring fish to Busia. Then people from Congo can come and buy when you have everything in place. Finally, Madam Speaker, Senator for Turkana also has similar problem. We had lunch together, and he told me there is a security problem in Lake Turkana also on his side. And this can be taken care of only by the Fisheries Department by deploying motorboats, speedboats that can secure that area. When we visited his county, people were complaining about not having enough speedboats to secure the community who live in Lake Turkana. So my request to the committee is they have to do a thorough investigation and also visit Lake Turkana, both sides, Turkana County and Marsabit County, and see for themselves what is happening in Marsabit, Lake Turkana. And most probably, we would also request, if possible, we ask the CS also to visit as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Senator
yes, it's fine. Yes, please do.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I rise to object that there is not a quorum present in the House. Madam Speaker, do we have quorum for the proceedings?
Clerks, do we have quorum? We don't have quorum, so can I request Sergeant at Arms to ring the bell for 10 minutes?
observing the Honorable Member, Honorable Muge, who has just spoken and sought a statement. And Madam Speaker, it's hard, I don't know how to put it, but I feel such warmth when you see young women doing extremely well. I watched her yesterday when she was contributing to my bill in the committee of the whole House, and I've been seeing the way she's ably representing her constituency.
No doubt, Honorable Millie.
We never say this, but Madam Speaker, I know the men are complaining, but you are too many in the House. When you see, the point of order is when there is a woman that is remarkable like this. I don't know whether she is one of the people who is receiving award or whether her name has been put in as one of the people receiving the honors in the House. Because she's, in terms of contribution, these are the people we need to be awarded. She's doing excellent.
Thank you,
Madam Speaker. If we don't recognize our own, who will recognize for us? She's doing an excellent job.
Honorable Millie, I've indulged you. Honorable Millie, I have indulged you because I agree with you. That is to start with, that she's one of the young women who are doing very well. And we take note. But honorable members, let us go back to the order, number 7. Let us start with the member for Marsabit. Kindly, your request for statement.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to seek for statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding disappearance of one Mr. Jilo Guyoboru of ID number 219-26678. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Jilo Guyoboru was allegedly abducted on 22nd September 2025 between Dambala Fachana area and Sololo Makutano Center while returning home from work. Eyewitnesses reported that 6 armed men in civilian clothing with their faces concealed forcibly bundled him into a Toyota Probox vehicle bearing a civilian number plate, while his motorcycle was loaded into a government Land Cruiser. Since then, his whereabouts remain unknown. The incident was officially reported at Sololo Police Station on 23rd September 2025 under occurrences number OB 06260925. Despite efforts to obtain assistance from the government and security agencies to trace Mr. Guyo, no progress has been made. Further inquiries at local police station have yielded no information. His sudden disappearance with no information on his location is causing profound emotional and psychological distress to his family and friends. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Guyo's case is not isolated. It points to a disturbing pattern of human rights violation that appears to have escalated since the launch of Operation Ondoa Jangili by the National Police Service on 3rd February 2025. And unfortunately, this operation, which was originally intended to protect the community, has been weaponized to victimize and terrorize these people, terrorize the very people it was meant to safeguard. Alarmingly, this blatant violation persists unchecked and with impunity, particularly in Sololo Sub-County in Moyale constituency. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Number 1, a status report on the disappearance of Mr. Jilo Guyoboru of ID number 219-26678 and investigation by the police into this incident as reported under OB number 06-23-09-2025. Number 2, actions being taken by the security agencies to update the family and ensure that the missing person is expeditiously traced and reunited with his family, and the proprietors brought to account for their actions. And lastly, measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to ensure the safety of residents of Sololo Sub-County and Moyale at large, Moyale constituency at large in Marsabit County, including safeguards to ensure the operation Ondoa Jangili is executed within the principles of the rule of law. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Chairman, Administration and Internal Security. How long do you need for both this one and the statement by Member Fonandi?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I agree your judgment. The two, both statements or other statements were not in the order paper, but you are within your right to allow. Madam Speaker, on the issue of the Honorable Naomi, I want really to say is the issue of urgency, and I will take for 1 week. Next week, Thursday.
Next week, Thursday.
If not a conclusive one, at least a preliminary response.
Yes.
On the second question, Madam Speaker, the question being sought by the Member of Parliament for Nandi, Cynthia Muge, I need your indulgence, Madam Speaker, because looking through the so-called statement, it is requesting for an inquiry, Madam Speaker. So maybe I need your indulgence because you know an inquiry is not a statement, an inquiry is not a question. So maybe I need first your indulgence whether is it
the
really
week after recess?
Statement. I'm saying, is it an inquiry? You know what
it is? A statement. The Speaker has approved it as a statement.
Madam Speaker, an inquiry. Maybe we need to confirm from the member.
It's an inquiry.
She's here, Madam Speaker. The statement is here with me. It is against this background that pursuant to Standing Order number 2016, I second an inquiry.
Is it prevalent in the Standing Orders, the inquiry? You can't seek an inquiry.
Honorable Muge, when I look through your statement, it looks like a statement to me. If you put inquiry, it becomes something else. So can you confirm that it's a matter of semantics or you meant inquiry? That means, of course, deeper and longer time in terms of getting a response.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Like I stated in my statement as well, there's been so many petitions that have been brought to this House regarding those same matters, and we have no tangible response to them. So I thought having an inquiry, Honorable Speaker, will give a conclusion, a conclusive investigation into those matters that are happening there, because it's recurring every other time.
So, Chair, I think you're right, and what Honorable Muge is requesting for is more than just a statement then. I think I'll give it a maximum within 60 days, because an inquiry is deeper, needs some more time, and maybe more details, so within 60 days.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and well guided. And Madam Speaker, just to confirm, we were there about 2 or so weeks ago as a committee, as part of our fact-finding mission. Actually, we visited the Nandi, and to be specific, even Tinteret. And I can confirm that the concern raised by the honourable member, of course, there have been some sporadic, on and off cases of insecurity, and I think there are merit in her asking for an inquiry.
Very well. The timeline
so
is
well
given.
Guided.
All right. We'll go to the next request now, as in the order paper. Member for North Hall, are you in the House? Yes, kindly request your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm requesting for a statement regarding the plight of IDPs in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a settlement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the plight of IDPs in Marsabit County. Honorable Speaker, during the tribal clashes that occurred between 2017 and 2021, over 600 households in Marsabit County were displaced due to socio-political violence. These families, for the past 4 years, resided in makeshift tents, temporary shelters, and camps in Marsabit County in dire and deplorable conditions. The IDPs lack access to basic needs such as water, food, proper sanitation conditions. The provision of relief food by the government to the affected households is intermittent and unsustainable, and there is need to permanently resettle the families. Furthermore, the IDPs, in an effort to find alternative settlement, were forcefully evicted, beaten, injured, and their properties burned by security agencies. Honorable Speaker, the national and county governments have repeatedly made assurance regarding permanent resettlement and compensation for the families, but this process has been painfully slow.
Order, Honorable Mwenje. Totally out of order. Continue, Honorable Member.
This House also approved the allocation of funds towards the resettlement process, but the government has failed to take up steps towards the implementation of the same. The continued delay in the resettlement, rehabilitation, and reintegration of the IDPs in Marsabit is a crisis that needs to be addressed urgently. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a settlement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Administration and Internal Security on the following. Plans by the Minister of Interior and National Administration to expedite and conclude the process of resettlement, rehabilitation, and reintegration of the IDPs, including specific timelines for the resettlement and compensation process. And finally, specific measures being implemented to restore and sustain long-lasting security in Marsabit County. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, Honorable Speaker, aware that we are going for recess, possibly next week, maybe allow me to do 1 week immediately we resume from recess.
I think that is in order. Next, request by member for Kiambu, Honorable Mashua.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations regarding the delayed payment of a subcontractor for the works undertaken in construction of the Environmental Conservation Gallery at Uhuru Gardens by the Ministry of Defense. Honorable Speaker, Joaquan Enterprises Limited was subcontracted by China Yunwing Company Limited to undertake construction of an environmental conservation gallery at Uhuru Gardens under the supervision of the Ministry of Defense. The works commenced in February 2022, where the subcontractor was able to successfully complete the foundation works. However, immediately after the 2022 general elections and the subsequent change of regime, the project was halted before completion. Despite having fully discharged its contractual obligations in good faith, Joaquan Enterprises Limited has to date not received payment for the works executed. This has subjected the company to severe financial distress, including difficulties in servicing loans and meeting obligations directly tied to the project. The delayed payment raises concerns regarding the accountability of government in supervision of projects undertaken by foreign contractors who engage local subcontractors. Honorable Speaker, it's against this backdrop that I request for the statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the following. 1, a report on the contractual arrangements between the Ministry of Defense, China Huaying Company Limited, and Jothwan Enterprises Limited in the Huru Gardens Environmental Conservation Gallery project, including the obligations of the ministry in ensuring payment of the subcontractors. 2, the reason for the suspension of the project and halting payment of completion works. 3, measures taken by the Ministry of Defense to ensure that Jothwan Enterprises Limited and other subcontractors are paid for works already completed. And 4, a clear timeline within which payment shall be effected to protect Kenya's subcontractors from unfair treatment in government projects. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I don't see the chair for defense, neither the vice chair. And on that case, I will task the minority whip, Honorable Mili Odhiambo, who is a member of that committee, that we get the response the first week after we resume from recess. Very well. Next one by member for Wajir West. Are you in the house? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs regarding compensation of Wagala massacre victims. Honorable Speaker, the Wagala massacre, which occurred on 10th February 1984, was a dark chapter in the history of our country. More than 5,000 people lost their lives after security forces rounded up and tortured men and male children over the age of 12 years at the Wagala airstrip. The quest for justice remains an illusion to the people of Wagala. The survivors have spent decades demanding accountability by the government without any resolution. In 2013, the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, TJRC, in its report acknowledged the atrocities and recommended an official apology from the government and implementation committee be formed to execute their recommendations. Further, in 2015, the fourth president offered a public apology for the atrocities, rekindling the hope for compensation. However, none of the victims and their families have been compensated for the torture and injuries suffered and the loss of their loved ones. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the following. Number 1, a report on the status of implementation of recommendation by the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, especially regarding the victims of Wagala massacre. 2, an explanation for the inordinate delay in compensating the families and victims of Wagala massacre. 3, measures being put in place to provide support to the survivors, including providing rehabilitation programs and fast-tracking compensation. Madam Speaker, this is the second time I'm requesting for this statement with no response. So I'm requesting the relevant committee.
Are you done with the request?
Yeah, I'm done.
I do not want to allow comments on statements. You know our standing orders. Yes. So allow me. What do you mean not comment, Honorable Bowen? If it is not a comment, then unless you have a statement.
Madam Speaker, what the honorable member has just read about the compensation of victims of Wagala massacre. Madam Speaker, there is a team which was formed by His Excellency the President some months ago for compensation of those who are killed, those who are brutalized during the demonstration. But Madam Speaker, in that report or in that team which the President formed,
there is need, Madam Speaker, to expand, to include those victims of Wagala massacre, to the banditry victims of Kerio Valley, Madam Speaker, where we lost even so many people because of banditry, and even the post-election violence, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Bowen, you can actually bring a statement to that effect. I think Honorable Member is very specific to Wagala massacre, and I think he said it's the second time. I think we should actually allow him to get the response specifically on Wagala massacre. Minority Whip on the same.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, you do notice that this is the second time this afternoon that we have talked about the issue of victims. Those IDPs who are victims of post-election violence, then the Wagala massacre who are also victims of excess of state power. Madam Speaker, I brought before this House the Victim Protection Act, which is a law. Would I be in order to request that as the relevant committee is looking at it, that they look at that framework, because I know that the body that was formed was also struggling with under what framework to pay. And I don't understand what framework you pay when there is already a Victim Protection Act. So that even when people are struggling going to court, all you need to do is appoint this very same people, minus Faith Odhiambo, to the the body under that act, which already has a fund, and we appropriate money.
Good.
And we can then we can cover plus the Wagala massacre and the Kerio ones. We can start from the latest backwards.
Well said. I think the chair is well. Where has the chair disappeared to? The good thing is that the issues of Wagala massacre, the issues of IDP, all are going to the same committee. The one on IDPs is going to administration. Wagala massacre is going to justice and legal affairs. Well, I think we'll give the relevant committee the leeway. If you need to have joint sittings with the other committee, kindly do, but bring an answer, because this is the second time, to the House the first week after we resume from recess. That is after the short recess that is in October. The next question or statement, request for statement, is by Honorable Wanjiku Muhia. What is out of order, Honorable Member for Wajir West?
Madam Speaker, this matter, I brought it twice. This is the second time I'm requesting for a statement. Now the relevant committee chairman is not in this House, and you have not asked anyone to bring a statement, I mean the response to for this specific statement.
JLAC, it's already committed to JLAC. JLAC, do we have the chair? No? Member? TJ, you're a senior member of that committee. Can you hold brief for your chairman?
For a moment, I thought my party leader here was propping me for failure. But yes, I can hold brief for my...
The first week after we come from recess?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Member for Kipipiri? Honorable members, you see the need to have your cards. You make the work for the clerks very difficult to keep looking where you're seated.
True, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the delayed construction of Geita-Donyojero Road project. This road is also known as Captain Demi Wanjohi Kwamato Geita Kahuroko Donyojero Road in Kipipiri constituency. Honorable Speaker, construction of this critical road commenced in the year 2018, yet progress has remained extremely slow. The project was launched twice, first in November 2018 and again in February 2023. However, the contractor left the site soon after the launch. While appearing before the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure in the year 2023, the Cabinet Secretary assured me that the project would be completed by the end of 2024. But there has been no meaningful progress to date. The continued delay has greatly inconvenienced the residents of Gator Town and its environs, who now struggle to access hospitals, schools, markets, and the road has become nearly impassable, forcing residents to resort to manual maintenance work. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure to apprise the House on the following. 1, a report on the current progress, funding status, and expected completion date of Gator Donyojero Road. Explanation as to why the contractor abandoned the site and why progress remains minimal despite assurance for completion of the work and payments being made. Confirmation of payment made to the contractor vis-a-vis the work done and measures taken to ensure timely completion of this project. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Member Chair for Infrastructure, Transport and Infrastructure. What is out of order? I do not want you to write on statements because you know our standing orders. Honorable members.
2 weeks after recess, after we come back from recess.
2 weeks after recess? Yeah. What is out of order, Honorable Mwenje?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I take your guidance on that issue very seriously. But Honorable Speaker, there's something that is of importance that I want to bring to your attention and the attention of the House that is related to what the Honorable Wanjikomoya has raised. Honorable Speaker, RMLF released 36 million to 22% and 10 million to 10%. As you know, Honorable Speaker, the work plans are already done and the adverts given and contractors given those jobs. And this is across the 290. But Honorable Speaker, you can tell when we were in October, a new financial year, and we just need an honest answer from the Minister whether we will ever receive these balances to complete those projects. If the Chair can, with the same timeline that you've given, when we resume from recess, we can get a final answer from the CS whether that balance of 6 million, because it's 36, which is to get to, I think, 42 or 44 million, and then the 19 million, 10 million was received for 10%, so there's 9 million. If we can know if we will ever get these funds, we'd rather know the truth that this money is not coming. Just tell us,
You've
forget
made
about
your point.
it.
Honorable GK, you want to say something about it? What?
I want to advise the honourable member to request for a statement
on this
so that we can avail a comprehensive response.
On this, Honourable Chair, no, Honourable Mwenje, I've indulged you. Honourable Chair, on this one, because it's a very live issue in this House, as you come with a response, please come with a response on it. I know you can do it from the Ministry because it is urgent and important. Member for Luanda, request your statement.
Thank you, Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to request a statement regarding the operational effectiveness of the Kenya Airways. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding operational effectiveness and customer service standards of Kenya Airways, also known as KQ. Honorable Speaker, in recent years, there have been increasing concerns from the public and tourists over the management and performance of Kenya Airways. Reports from passengers using the airline indicate a pattern of last-minute cancellations, frequent delays in flights, and inadequate communication with passengers over important updates. In some instances, flights have been cancelled or rescheduled with little or no notice, leaving travelers stranded, missing connecting flights, and incurring unplanned expenses. Passengers have also consistently raised complaints regarding poor handling of luggage, with many cases of lost or delayed luggage being reported. This has been accompanied by allegations of low or ineffective claims resolution processes, which has greatly undermined public confidence in the airline. In January 2025, the Commercial Competition Commission commenced investigation into Kenya Airways for unconscionable conduct in the treatment of passengers, particularly in relation to delayed or cancelled flights and inadequate customer care. Honorable Speaker, there are also concerns about the strategic direction and competitiveness of the airline in the region. Comparative industry data shows that while Kenya Airways once had a stronger fleet position than some of its regional competitors, its growth trajectory has stagnated. For example, in 2006, Ethiopian Airline had a smaller flight than KQ, but has since expanded significantly, now operating a larger flight and serving more passengers, while KQ's growth has been limited. Over the years, a significant amount of resources has been used to support KQ operations and restructure its finances. Reports on its management raised concerns on how long the taxpayer is expected to bear the burden of funding KQ's losses. This is notwithstanding the fact that KQ tickets are prohibitively expensive compared to other airlines. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, a report on the assessment of the management and operational strategies of Kenya Airways, including its current fleet position, growth trajectory, and regional competitiveness. 2, plans by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to restore public confidence, improve customer service, and ensure Kenya Airways remains competitive. And 3, the specific measures being undertaken to ensure that financial support is tied to performance conditions to protect the interest of taxpayers. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
GK. Hold on. Hello, Honorable Speaker, 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes.
So it means after recess?
After recess,
The
yes.
first week after recess?
First week after recess, Honorable
Very
Speaker.
well. We now go to statements to be responded to. We'll start with Honorable Tongoyo. Where is Tongoyo? Honorable GK, can you go first? If you're ready, go. Honorable GK has the floor.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, the member for Tabaj, the Honorable Bare Hussein Abdi, MP, requested a statement regarding funding for the construction of the Wajir Tabaj Koturo Road. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Bare Hussein Abdi, M, in the request of the following. A report on the implementation status of the Wajir Tabaj Road Lot 1 and Tabaj Koturo Road Lot 2 projects, detailing the financing plans, total cost, and the amount disbursed and paid to contractors so far. 3, 2, clarification on whether or not the completion of the Tabaj Koturo Road A13 has been provided for in the financial year 25-26, specifying the budget amount. And 3, a report on the number of residents affected by the project in Tabaj constituency, including their details and the status of compensation. And 4, details of the corporate social responsibility, that is CSR initiatives earmarked for implementation under the Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project within Tabaj constituency, the budget allocation, and expected impact on the local communities. Honorable Speaker, the committee received a response from the Ministry of Roads and Transport on 22nd September 2025, which I now wish to make. Regarding the Wajir Tabaj Road Lot 1 and Tabaj Koturo Road Lot 2 projects, The ministry submitted that the projects were financed by the World Bank under the Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project and fell under Component A, which focused on improving the movement of people, goods, and digital connectivity. The project cost was estimated at a cost of USD 642.54 million, covering road works, consultancy services, and fiber optic cable installation. The first lot, covering the Tabaj-Wajir section, that's 57 kilometers, and contracted to Logojan Road and Bridge Company, had a contract sum of 9.1 billion Kenya shillings, with physical progress at 5.5% compared to the expected 21.01%. To date, the contractor has received about Kenya shillings 1.2 billion. To the second lot, covering the Tabaj-Koturo section, that's 57 kilometers, was contracted to Zongmei Engineering Group Limited in joint venture with Holein Construction Company at a contract amount of Kenya shillings 9.0 billion. Its progress stands at 14.72% against the expected 22.81%, and the contractor has been paid approximately 1.8 billion. The ministry confirmed that all payments due had been settled. 5, with regard to budgetary provisions, the ministry has clarified that the project was fully supported through a multi-year budget, with the adequate allocation made for financial year 25-26. Specifically, Kenya shillings 868 million was allocated for Lot 1 and 918 million for Lot 2, inclusive of 16.4 million as Government of Kenya counterpart funding. Honorable Speaker, on compensation, the ministry submitted that a resettlement action plan had been undertaken in January 2020 in line with the World Bank's policy on involuntary resettlement to identify and enumerate all affected persons, households, assets, and livelihoods within the road corridor. The total number of PAPs, that's project affected persons for Lot 1 was 260 persons, that's 62 persons. That's distributed along Holein, Wagberry, Lafari, and Tabaj areas. For Lot 2, the number of PAPs was 549 persons distributed along Hungwai, Ouagadougou, and Koturo in Wajir counties, and Koturo in Mandera County. The National Ad Commission is in the process of verifying the identified PAPs and carrying out variation for their compensation. Disbursement of compensation funds will follow once the variation is done. Honorable Speaker, regarding the corporate social responsibility activities being undertaken under this project, the ministry submitted that the corridor has already drilled and equipped a community borehole at Ouagadougou ward and installed a 20,000-liter water tank at the shopping center in Hungai ward. Further, the contractor supplies Hungai, Sango, and Elben wards with 40,000 liters of water twice a week, and Tabaj ward 3 times a week. Additionally, the ministry noted that under the same project, Kenya will implement socio-economic infrastructure in facilities identified through earlier social assessments with sub-projects already validated for the benefit of local communities. The sub-projects span across the health, water, education, and youth sectors, Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Before I give you member for Tarbaj, I'll give you the first shot. But in the meantime, allow me to recognize in the public gallery, I hope they're still there, students or learners from Oldonyonyokie Primary School, Kajiado West constituency, Kajiado County. Can you be upstanding? If I've mentioned you in the gallery, you stand up. Maybe they are not the same, yeah? From Kajiado West, but nevertheless, allow me to welcome them, they're there. Allow me to join other members to welcome them to observe the proceedings of the House. Member for Tarbaj, are you satisfied with our response?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to say thank you to the Chair for the effort done. However, I need certain clarifications from the Chair or from the committee. One, Madam Speaker, this road is, or this section of the road is part of the Horn of Africa road project that has been popularized by the President in several occasions and platforms. So this is a very important road because that part of the country has been waiting for this road for close to 60 years. Now that it has begun, we are so happy about it, but there's some clarification I needed, which has not been provided by the response given. One, I wanted clarity on two aspects of funding of the project. One, the loan aspect and the grant aspect that is part of the funding. This I want from the chairman. Two, the CSR project. There is social project that is, which is non-monetary, which is being provided by the contractor, such as the water tracking that is given to some settlements like Sango and Elbern, and the road and the boreholes that were done. That is non-monetary social project that is being done by the contractor. But there is a different aspect of CSR which is to be done, which comes as a grant with the project. This clarity has not happened, and I want that clarity. And part of it is some spar road, which are supposed to be done through the grant. And some of us as leaders have given suggestions on where to be done. This has not come out. So I want that clarification. Equally, the social, I also want the clarity on the pubs, the project affected persons. The names, their particulars are not provided. And this can give way to some changes at the last minute. So I will wish a clear information on those who are going to be affected by this road, and the compensation are due to them is provided. Equally, there's some contest between the Lands Commission and Kenya and who's going to handle this compensation. This contest on mandate is not very clear. I wish this is clarified by the chairman. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable GK, do you have that information with you?
Honorable Speaker, I will organize and coordinate a meeting between the member and the Principal Secretary so that we have the issues that he has raised addressed satisfactorily. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Tarbaj, the rest of the details you can converse with the committee in a tripartite meeting with the ministry.
That's fine, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Member for Kajiado North, why are you lifting your hand?
Yeah, I just want to seek your indulgence,
Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
The good chair, the Honorable George Kariuki, had committed to this House to answering my question today. Through from the chair, he was directed on the compensation of people in Kenya Railway who have not been done so for 8 years. He has not mentioned a word. So I would want to know, because he had committed today that he shall bring...
Honorable GK, do you have that answer?
Honorable Speaker, the Minister has not submitted the response, but I will follow up and ensure that first week after recess we have that response read out here. Thank
Very
you,
well.
Speaker.
First week after recess. Member for Wajir East. Are you in the House? The one with a question? With a statement? If he's not in the House, Chair, Administration and Internal Security, kindly table the response for the member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Do not read, just table.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
But I know the member. He has been actually so persistent on this kind of question.